Hello, my friends and family. Thought I would just give you guys a quick little update on things as well as announcing something kind of cool that I'm doing. First of all, just in case anybody may not be aware, uh, at the end of last year, October 25th, 2024, I began the immigration process of moving to Denmark. Um, Definitely before Trump started a bunch of stuff with Greenland and Denmark. Would have done it anyways, but it's just one of those, of course. I wasn't even fully aware a few years ago Denmark was a country. But now, of course, the one out of all of them I choose to. Regardless, anyways, um, it's going great. It's going pretty well. Since I have moved here, I haven't really done anything different other than just like live a more European style, eccentric like style life, which involves like walking around, taking public transportation, eating smaller portion sizes, not drinking soda all the time, um, yada yada yada. Since I've lost nearly 10 kilos just doing nothing different, but just I'm just a more active and healthier person. Um, Learned how to cook a plethora of different meals, not never eating out. So there's a lot of different things that are going well. And for those of you who don't know, I have a couple of things I wanted to talk about, but one of them is the main reason why I'm making this video. It's because I'll get to that in a second, but it's related to the fact that I've been going to a language school to learn how to speak Danish. I've always been a believer that if you're going to move to another country, you should do your part in trying to somewhat assimilate to the culture, or the norms or the people that are there. And absolutely, I've been having a blast with it. Um, Denmark is, I mean, they're the people, descendants of the Vikings. I've always been a big fan of Norse mythology, and what they've done for, like, I don't know, as a people is super cool. So I've been going to a language school for that. If anyone knows what the Kefir scale is, CEFR, I think it stands for Central European Framework of something. CEF, I don't know what the R is. But it's for languages, and A is bad, C is fluent, and you're on a gradient of A1 to 2 to B1 to 2 to C1 to 2, with C2 being the best, right? I finished an A1 course, which is a lot of words to say that I can say Yachila Anthony, Yakomafoi USA, Inatlauva Or, which is my name. They come from America, and I'm 31. Uh, as well as some other basic things, but um, I um but yeah, I've been going to language school. I'll talk more about that in a second because that's the main part of this video. I can definitely feel my ADD kicking in a lot because in the last year or two, I've been getting medicated for it, and it's incredible the difference of being on medication versus not being on medication is. And since I've been here, I haven't been because different country, different way you go about things. I'm still waiting to hear about my residency status. So for those who don't know, when you apply for residency the way I have, it can take upwards of 7 months. So I'm waiting until either July or August 28th, depending on when they start the timer, before I hear back. So that being said, I have thought of a couple different ways on how to stay busy, mainly going to school, learning how to cook, and learning the language. Um, One of the things that I've come across when it comes to learning the language is something called immersion, full immersion, and this is essentially trying to trick the brain into, well, not trick the brain, but it's learning in a different way than like actively learning something. So the whole point of this video, or one of the major points of this video, is to talk about the fact that I'm not going to be interacting or speaking with my friends or family in English for the next 100 days because I'm doing a 100-day kind of like self challenge. I've done these before for different things, and this one I'm going to be documentating, documenting, documenting thoroughly. Um, it's going to be essentially the idea is with immersion. When like a baby or like a child is like learning how to speak, they don't have like anything to learn how to. They don't have like a base language that they learn from, right? They're not converting from your language, English, into baby goo goo gaga language. They're like just learning what the word is, right? So you say chair and you point to a chair long enough, eventually the baby starts assuming or starts associating the word chair with the word chair with what a chair is, and they learn chair, right? And it's like this really like allegedly very powerful way to learn how to become fluent in language because a huge part of it doesn't have to do with converting or translating the foreign word to your native language. So, for instance, a huge part of what I do when I'm learning Danish, I'm like, okay, this is basically how you say because of blah 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 blah, which would be in Danish like på grund af, right? It's like because of. But it's like but if you're gonna say because something happened, then it's gonna be more like fordi instead of because. But I'm like translating these things as I'm trying to say the word. So immersion is essentially you cut out your native language and you force yourself to only be in the new language, the foreign language. And what that's going to do is the first however many hours that you do this, it's almost just like you're listening to the gibberish, like static. Like it's just like you have no idea what's being said. If you're watching a show, you have no idea what the people are talking about. You don't know what's going on, and it can be very like it can be very it can it can cause you to feel very distraught. At least I've tried it before, where it's like, what am I? It's like like you turn on TV, right? And it's just static, right? Like how am I supposed to learn a language from just white noise, just static? But I've done a ton of YouTube research into this, and looked up like articles and watched videos and documentaries about it, and it's like I- I've never seen anyone say it doesn't work at some point. You need about to get to like basic conversational fluency about like 750 like active hours of being immersed into the language to start understanding like chair is chair, right? Without having to translate it because you just learn the word through association and not through translation. So it's supposed to make you become much more fluent. It's supposed to make you understand more nuances, how to say things, and you don't have to do this whole like translating thing. So there's no delay with understanding what things are because you're not like translating what they're saying into English and translating a response from English into Danish and then saying the Danish back, right? It's just like you're just speaking Danish or in anyone's case their language. Um, so for sure it'll be a struggle at first, which is really funny to me. Just thinking about myself, I know it's gonna be a struggle. Obviously, in case of emergency, I can use English, or I'll be using English. But for the most part, I'm not gonna be doing anything with English. I've switched everything in my home over to Danish. My phone's in Danish. My laptop's in Danish. Um, Everything's gonna be in Danish. I'm only gonna be speaking in Danish. My partner Freiga, she's only gonna be interacting with me or speaking with me in Danish. She'll just ignore me if I speak in English, allegedly. We'll see how well that goes. Her family, I visit her family all the time. They always speak in English. They're gonna switch to Danish and just let me struggle for the most part. Um, but yeah, part of that is naturally like as a person I'm a homebody. Like I love going out and about and seeing things, going camping and going to like the bar and nightlife and stuff like that, but my natural default state is just being inside watching YouTube videos, doing like like researching miscellaneous stuff that my ADD brain takes me to, like what the ambient surface temperature of the equator of Mars is at different points in time throughout the day to see like the temperature fluctuations, like stuff like that, right? That's like ADD kicks in, and I just start researching that stuff, or like I play video games, or a lot of my stuff's at home, right? So it's like, how do I like, how do I immerse myself with that, right? So a lot of the things that for instance I'm going to be doing, just as an example, is I'm going to be, oh, one second. Okay, sorry about that. I was in the middle of, I think I was going to start the list of the different things I was going to do when Freddie came home. So she's a little camera shy, so trying not to ruin that for her. That being said, I was just talking about how we're doing 800 hours of like Danish immersion, and because of my problem of like a lot of my habits staying home, I've created a list of things that I'm going to be doing to help like make myself actively immersed in it, so that way I don't just like sit at home and white noise Danish YouTube videos for 10 hours a day. Um, so just really quick, some of the things I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be watching essentially Denmark's version of Hulu. It's called DR. On there they have radio channels like that have and podcasts and TV series. In Denmark, actually, a tiny bit of their taxes goes towards creating basically Hulu for them, but their Hulu, so Hulu is for them. They don't have to. It's essentially free in the aspect that it comes out of their taxes. So kind of a good deal. I have a YouTube profile and stuff, and I'm subscribed to maybe 2 dozen different Danish like influencers or Danish like channels. There's obviously like Spotify music, Danish music, or like podcasts on Spotify. I have a couple of books that I'm going to be reading. Different trying to. None of these things are things that I'm like going to be doing like specifically this much, this much, this much. I'm just going to be keeping a running total, right? So when I say things like, for instance, I'm going to be reading The Hobbit, but like in Danish, or I have like a comic book, a big thick comic book thing called Valhalla, or like there's kids books that I have that are more a lower reading level. Be reading those types of things like news articles, or I'll be playing video games, because some of the video games you can set to Danish, and in when you set them to Danish, a lot of video games that are set to Danish, they still speak in English, and like things in the game are in English, but like the text gets all changed to Danish. But there are some games, oftentimes kids games, because Danish kids don't know English before they know Danish. A lot of kids games are set in Danish audio, so you can hear the people talking Danish, and you can interact with lots of things in Danish. So, for instance, Spyro, Ratchet and Clank, and a few others are like audio only. So I'll be playing through those games as well. So I do have quite a bit of like ways I can actively immerse myself in Danish, as well as being able to like walk around Denmark while listening to something, or going out and just being in Denmark, grocery shopping, talking to the person, asking if I can get my receipt, my faux min kvartering, which I probably just butchered, but that being said, kan jeg få en kvartering? Can I get a receipt? Um, it's making sure I say things and do things in Danish. But one of the other things is that I have this 100-day plan, because I'm doing it for 100 days, and I have a problem with starting hobbies that are way bigger than what I feel like I can actually commit to. But my basic assumption right now is that at part of this 100-day plan, I'm going to be updating this YouTube channel with like a daily vlog. And I don't know how long the videos will be. Maybe they'll be 1 minute, maybe they'll be 5 minutes, maybe one will be half an hour. It depends on what the content of the vlog is. But I used AI to kind of generate like 100 different things that I can talk about every day. So I can get practice speaking things. And hopefully this will accomplish one of two things. It'll help me train saying things, but also I know that when I was first researching Danish, I wish I had some sort of thing like this where I could see somebody progressing through Danish to see that immersion actually works. But also, there's a third kind of thing that this does as well is I'll be able to show you, my friends, family, and whoever else will be watching the YouTube channel, like more of Denmark, right? Because some of these like prompts are like go for a walk and talk about like describe what you see on your walk, or show off a popular attraction and talk about what you see at the popular attraction, or like go like to a grocery store and read the ingredients off of different like goods or wares. And a lot of that will involve me like going around like filming what I'm doing out in the wild, like a I don't know, like I'm some 14-year-old TikTok influencer or something like that. But yeah, the idea is that like every day I should be trying to do eight hours ish of like actively involved immersion, where I'm like actively doing something, I'm actively saying something, I'm actively reading something, I'm actively listening to something and hearing the words, not just white noise, but like listening to the words, even though I don't understand what they're saying. So 8 hours a day doing that, because over the 100 days, that should add up to about 800 hours, give or take, depending on if I'm lazy one day or one week or something like that, or if I start off really strong and then hold through, maybe it's more. But I should have about 800 hours of total immersion, and then I'm actively going to language school, and then the other 8 hours a day that I'm awake, every day will probably be like what would be light immersion. So those are things that's like maybe I'm not actively reading something in Danish. Maybe I'm playing a video game and like it's a type of video game that like doesn't have any really any text or audio. It's just like a card game or something like that, like Hearthstone, for example. Even though Hearthstone would be in English, anyways. Maybe I'm listening to music while doing that, so I'm still getting some Danish stuff going on, but I'm not actually like super committed to listening to the music or the podcast. I'm just listening to it while I do something else. That'll be the other 8 hours a day. So I'll have 800 hours of total immersion, um, ideally, and then potentially 800 hours of maybe secondary immersion, where it's like I'm in Denmark, so of course I'm going to be immersed when I'm not counting it. Um, but yeah, so that's a lot of words to say. Essentially, that I my updates for the next 100 days are going to be in Danish. But fortunately for you guys, I do plan to show off more of Denmark during that time. So I will be ignoring my friends and family unless you send me something in Danish, because if I see something in English, I'm going to obviously I read really fast. I'm gonna be able to remember. I'll be able to probably read a paragraph in a few seconds before I realize I'm reading something in English. But I won't be responding in English, and if I do respond at all, it'll only be something if you send me in Danish. So Google Translate something, send it to me, I'll read it, send it back to you. Or if you leave a comment in like the YouTube video, I'll respond to the comment in Danish as best as I can to keep practicing. So of course, if anything huge happens, you can obviously notify me in English, and I'll do the same, vice versa. For instance, if my residency gets approved during this 100-day challenge, I'll probably say that in English, like, "Oh, I got approved," or if I get deported, like, "Boo-hoo, I'm going home," that sort of thing. So, I also do plan on giving a day 50 and day 100 update, and that's going to be more for other people who are looking for. I mean, obviously, it's gonna be like an update on my life and how the immersion is going, but also I do want like to see halfway point, um, a halfway point of how well the immersion training is going, and then the finale, so that way I can see like a beginning, a middle, and an end of what 800 hours of full immersion looks like. Um, but yeah, that's kind of everything that I wanted to talk about. Everything else is going great. No problems with anything. Family's great. Haven't necessarily made. I mean, I've made some. I guess a few. Like one of our neighbors. I wouldn't say he's a friend, but we're friendly. Someone in my language school. He drives me nuts because he sucks at uh, like retaining information when it comes to learning Danish, but he's a great person. So I guess I have made some friends. But that being said, I'm gonna be deactivating Facebook, as well as ignoring anything else that comes through in English. So if you send me a text or you need to get a hold of me, make sure to send it in Danish unless it's an emergency. So um, love you guys, miss you guys. Feel free to update anything you have essentially until I go to bed tonight. I'm 9 hours ahead of you to get a hold of me or say anything. I'll be reaching out to my brother and my mother to kind of let them know what's going on specifically, but anybody else, you're out of luck until until 100 days has gone by. So until day 50 in English, I'll see you guys then. Or if you wanted to wait, then tomorrow you should see my first update on in Danish. So take care, everybody.